Aid continues to pour in for the victims of Typhoon Odette more than a month since it hit areas in the Visayas and Mindanao. Aside from rebuilding their homes, food is also something humanitarian organizations are focusing on. Joining us now in the program is Brenda Barton. She's the representative and country director of the United Nations World Food Program Philippines. They've started giving food assistance to thousands of affected families. Good morning, Brenda, and thanks for being here.
Good morning. Magandang umaga.
Magandang umaga, Brenda. Now, your team has been on the ground assessing the damage wrought by Odette and how affected residents are coping. It's been more than a month. What's the situation right now?
I have to say the situation is still increasingly alarming by the day because there were so many areas that were cut off, where trees had fallen down, where roads were out, and therefore the numbers of people and the numbers of houses, for example, that have been damaged is still rising by the day. Where our teams are out there, we're trying to assist, of course, with as much food assistance in support of the government's efforts as we can. But there is just an immense amount of need still from people. They're still really, I would say, recovering from the shock.
Right. I think communication was really the problem on the onset of Typhoon Odette. I don't think we appreciated just how wide the area of damage was, and it really did take a while for the information to really trickle in and for us to paint a more accurate picture. Now, you're working with the Social Welfare Department and the United States Agency for International Development, or USAID. Tell us about this effort and how many food packs have you distributed so far?
Yes, indeed. One of the great things about the response this time is that the government, I would say, was well prepared, both in terms of having people evacuate. Some 800,000 people did early evacuations, and that really kept the death toll low. At the same time, the DSWD has this amazing system of family food packs. So the World Food Program, with the support of the U.S. government, has been able to send some 400 trucks, or almost 400,000 family food packs, hygiene kits, shelter kits to families in need. We've been trucking them out every day from various parts of the country. And that's really been the first lifeline to people after they were hit by the typhoon.
Right. Brenda, what are the efforts to make this sustainable? This is obviously, how would you say, very immediate relief for the victims of Odette, but there's going to be a briefing today among member states about the humanitarian needs of affected communities. How do we keep this going long term?
Indeed. I mean, we still, as humanitarian responders, are into what we would call still the immediate needs. The humanitarian country team today will launch a revised request for $169 million. That's up from $107 that was asked for on December 24th. And that's really a reflection of the growing needs and the real urgency that there is on the ground. Shelter is still a main priority, wash, sanitation, health, and of course, food security. And yes, Secretary Locsin will be speaking with our resident coordinator, Gustavo Gonzalez, today in New York to the member states to really underline these needs that are still emerging from the ground and the immediate response. And of course, also looking to the recovery. There'll be 3 months of urgent activities that are underway now. And then there's another 3 months needed of what we call early recovery, building back people's livelihoods, helping them to get their agriculture up and running. Many, of course, had their coconut farms destroyed. Those kinds of things actually take years.
Absolutely right. Now, I think all of us can lend a hand here, and it's up to us to keep this going long term. Tell us about the online campaign that you also have, the Share a Meal, where everyone can literally share the meal with a typhoon survivor. How does this work, and what's it all about?
Thank you. Well, unfortunately, there are so many and really extreme climate events around the world that we often have people asking us, how can we help? What can we do? And so WFP has launched this app called Share the Meal, and it's very, very easy to use. You just download it very quickly on your phone. And with that, you can just give a meal to a child here in the Philippines. It costs 40 pesos. And I've done it many, many times. It really is a wonderful way that everyone can contribute to what are, really enormous needs on the ground.
Right. The work does continue, and it's up to all of us to lend a helping hand. Thank you, WFP Philippines representative and country director Brenda Barton. Thanks for joining us so much.